With the Pro Bowl rosters being announced late Wednesday night, 5, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Detroit Lions players have been named to the NFC Pro Bowl starting lineup, as well as 7 other players named as alternates, and one gigantic snub for one of the top players in the NFL, based on media bias and big playability. It's the Hat and Beard Show. I'm Hat and Beard. I'm here to say the quiet part out loud, and today we're pretending like the Pro Bowl means something. Let's get into it, fellas.
We're going to get up, and on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off.
Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and 3 toes. I will beat your ass.
All right, guys, thanks for checking in with me tonight. We got a quick little rundown. We got 5 Detroit Lions players named to the Pro Bowl, which is an outstanding number. I think before that we had the max of 4, possibly 5. I think in 2014 we had Matt Stafford, Calvin Johnson, Golden Tate, and Ndamukong Suh. And I want to say Glover Quinn made the Pro Bowl. But anyway, we've got an article pulled up here for you guys from the Pride of Detroit, breaking down the 5 players named to the Pro Bowl, 7 listed as alternates. Now, the nice thing about the alternates is, although it is a bit insulting, it does give you the ability to get into the Pro Bowl, barring, injury. Players can opt out. Super Bowl teams, obviously, traditionally, I don't know if they still do with the change in the Pro Bowl, but traditionally, Super Bowl team players don't attend the Pro Bowl as well. This is basically just a talking point for players and a contract leverage point for players nowadays. The Pro Bowl isn't what it once was. Back when I was growing up, the Pro Bowl was an actual game played in Hawaii of the NFC's best against AFC's best. Now it's a week-long skills competition and then a flag football game. And, to each their own. If you like flag football, that's your thing. I just think the Pro Bowl is kind of whack now and a bit of a popularity contest. Really, it's not so much about the stat lines anymore, though one player named from the Lions is a bit of a stat line superhero to get named to the Pro Bowl, but it's really more of a big splash, big play popularity contest. So let's dive into it. Here we go from the Pride of Detroit. All right, so we got 5 Detroit Lions have been named to the 2024 Pro Bowl. The league announced on Wednesday evening. They're going to break it down here. So we're just going to quickly skim over this. So obviously, Sam LaPorta, our super all-world rookie tight end that we got in the second round. This will be his first ever Pro Bowl selection, considering he's a rookie. LaPorta is currently 6th in the NFL among tight ends with 860 receiving yards, which sucks. He's hit a bit of, I don't want to say a wall, but with the distribution needing to go around and the integration of Jameson Williams a little bit more into the passing offense, you're seeing Sam LaPorta being used as a amon-ra type grinder, gritty type player who's going to get you the dirty yards and the first downs, not the big plays. I was really hoping LaPorta could go over 1,000 receiving yards this year. I know it was kind of a shot about 4 or 5 weeks ago, but I thought he could kind of nudge his way up there a little bit. And he finished with, he's got 9 touchdowns, just 3 of the rookie tight end record, which, not saying it can't happen. I mean, we are playing Minnesota, and the last time we played Minnesota, I believe he had 3 touchdown catches of Jared Goff's 5 that he threw that day. So not unattainable for Sam LaPorta to break the touchdown record for rookies, but that's a long shot. Good to see Sam LaPorta getting the acknowledgement that he deserves. Seems like a real humble guy, real Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes type dude. So good to see him getting his recognition by the national media. Frank Ragnow is going to his 3rd Pro Bowl. Again, another deserved year. He is PFF's top-rated center. That's pretty astonishing. That's a good feeling. Frank Ragnow is cool, calm, collected, quiet. He is a humble leader in the offense, but boy, that guy is just a dominant force at the center position, considering he's overshadowed in his own conference by a guy like Jason Kelce, who gets all the flowers because he plays for Philly, and he's basically the anchor of the tush push, but Frank Ragnow, and especially because he's been doing it with a bunch of injuries all season long, each week. He's had a lingering toe injury all season long. Now, if you guys think back a few years ago, Frank Ragnow actually played with a broken vertebrae in his neck. So the guy is just a workhorse, and you love to see him getting acknowledgement from the national media. Penei Sewell going to his second straight Pro Bowl. You got to love it. Having a monster year. PFF grades him out at a 91.4. That is the highest among all offensive linemen. All. Not just position specific. All offensive linemen. He's allowed just a single sack all season. Wow. Wow, really? Wow, I didn't realize that he was having that kind of a season. But yeah, he has only allowed one single sack all season and is 8th in pass block win rate this year. That's pretty amazing. Became a captain this year as well, but still, that's an amazing stat line by PFF. Now, there's a little blurb down here that I do want to. It's worth talking about. With Penei getting his second Pro Bowl nomination and being on his rookie contract, his fifth-year option, which is coming up here, it'll be exercised this upcoming offseason. It'll be even more expensive, and considering Penei Sewell is on a Hall of Fame trajectory career, you gotta definitely hit him with that fifth-year option to give yourself an extra year. So, for those of you guys who are unaware, the fifth-year option is granted to first-round talented players, giving the team essentially an extra year on the rookie contract, holding back their earning potential. Now, they can always opt to hold out and restructure or demand a re-signing or a different contract or even to be traded, but it gives the offense or the organization an extra year with that player. However, it's not exactly structured around the rookie contract. It is a percentage of and then an increase based on certain incentive bases, which it just stated here. So Penei Sewell will be worth every penny. It's just you're going to have to pay him a little bit more than what he was going to get for his rookie contract, and then you're going to have to start the negotiation process. And you guys, we will talk about it all off season long, but we have a lot of money that we're going to have to spend to keep the foundation of this team around over the next 2-3 years, and that's just assuming that we don't continue to draft just ballers all day long. Brad Holmes proving to be the best GM in all of the National Football League, especially when it comes to talent scouting. Rounding out our skilled position players, non-special teams, because as you can see there, Jalen Reeves may have made it. But Aidan Hutchinson, now this is where I was talking about a stat line player earning a spot on the Pro Bowl roster, not based on just solely what he puts on the stat line, because Aidan Hutchinson has only accumulated 9.5 sacks, which is not a lot when you look at the grand scheme of you wanting your guys to hit high into the double digits, mid-teens, pushing 20 on a season-long basis to be an elite pass rush specialist. However, 3 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, and interception. The big number, though, that we need to look at here is that he is 3rd in the NFL on his total pressures he's been able to put pressure. And this is what we've been seeing all season long, guys. Aidan Hutchinson is just getting so close, but without his running mate like a James Houston or unfortunately recently an Ali McNeil, he can get the pressure. He just can't close the deal. So he's gone from having 53 pressures last season to 93 this season already, which is a plus 40 increase with a whole other game yet to play against a patchwork Minnesota offensive line, and who knows who they're going to play at quarterback. So with 47 tackles, 11 for a loss, and 9.5 sacks, it's a little bit low on what you want to see. But again, this is what Aidan Hutchinson has been able to put on the field and put on tape for the national media to see, is that he's consistently nearly getting there and applying a tremendous amount of pressure, which we've talked about time and time again. When your front seven can apply pressure, it takes a lot of burden off of the secondary. It forces ill-advised passes and lets your DBs play a little bit more loose and have more of an opportunity to create a turnover type situation when you have an elite pass rush specialist like Aidan Hutchinson. And all offseason, guys, we will be discussing what do we do? Do we bolster our pass rush or do we bolster our secondary in the draft? That will be a hot topic of discussion. This offseason is going to be loaded with conversation, you guys, and I really hope you're here for it. And then special teams, Jalen Reeves, Maben Germ on his second stint back in Detroit. again, the returning of players like JRM, Jalen Reeves-Maybin, and Graham Glasgow really shows how the culture has shifted in Detroit and how guys who've seen what it once was are willing to come back and play for the change that has happened with top down. Sheila Hamp, Brad Holmes, Motor City Dan Campbell, the entire coaching regime. We all know it. I'm preaching to the choir at this point, but good to see Jalen Reeves-Maybin. Oh, this is his first ever Pro Bowl nod. I mean, he is one of the most electrifying special teams players in the NFL. We rely on him to do a lot. I mean, he actually picked up the NFL's first down this season on the fake punt in Kansas City on the opening drive. All right, so yeah, there you go. Yeah, 5 Pro Bowl players are the most among Lions since 2014, like I said, with Matt Stafford, Calvin Johnson, Golden Tate, Ndamukong Suh, and Glover Quinn. Damn, do I know my Lions? Hey, make sure you like and subscribe to show me that I am not just a maniac over here. Thanks. Appreciate it. And then let's get to the alternates right here. All right, so Jared Goff is going to be the second alternate. So you guys see here where it's second alternate, first, fourth, first, third, fifth, fourth. So that is the ranking and where the guys fall. So obviously the first quarterback from the NFC to opt out of participating in the Pro Bowl, whoever is the first alternate will go, and then if it will a cascading effect. The next guy out, well, then Goff is the next man up. So Jared Goff earns essentially second team all NFC, I guess you could say. But he's the second alternate for quarterback for the NFC. Goff has had an up and down season. Started out real hot, and he kind of got vanilla there in the middle. Obviously, the team struggled a little bit. In the game in Dallas, he was the Jared Goff that we can't re-sign. I've been talking about it all season long. I need prime time at home Jared Goff like he played against the Raiders, right? I can't have Jared Goff in prime time in Dallas not being able to throw the out route. All right, so let's look at right here. This is where I wanted to talk about a couple of things. These 3 guys right here. Jahmyr Gibbs, first alternate running back. David Montgomery, fourth alternate running back. Okay? And Amon-Ra St. Brown, first alternate wide receiver. These 3 guys right here is a prime example. So Amon-Ra is the first alternate. And now in the NFC, we've seen a guy like Mike Evans make it in as a starter in the NFC for the Pro Bowl team. Now, Mike Evans has 77 catches, 1,200 yards, and 13 touchdowns, whereas Amon-Ra has 90 and some change, 1,300 yards and 9 touchdowns. The argument is, I've seen posted on social media, is why did Mike Evans make this Pro Bowl lineup over Amon-Ra St. Brown? And that is going to be explained right here. So when you look at Jahmyr Gibbs being listed as first alternate and David Montgomery as fourth alternate, we as Lions fans know that David Montgomery is actually the workhorse to our offense and what makes it go. When David Montgomery is out of games, not playing due to injury, we tend to lose, actually. And I'm not saying Jahmyr Gibbs can't handle the workload. I'm just saying that our offense is an entirely different style without the ground and pound of both running backs. Now, David Montgomery isn't nearly as flashy as Jahmyr Gibbs, though he has done more for our offense consistently than Ja has. And I'm not saying that Ja has hit his ceiling already. I'm just saying that the way that we utilize these guys, David Montgomery on the whole of the season has done more to justify being the first alternate, whereas Jahmyr Gibbs, especially as a rookie, still proving himself, should probably be slid down to that fourth alternate spot. But what we see out of Jahmyr Gibbs is more splash plays, more highlight reel tapes, more of the media darlings surrounding him because he's electrifying. He's fun to watch. He puts butts in the seat, and he's probably going to sell more jerseys than David Montgomery. So the NFL likes that. They spend more money on this individual. Brings me back to my point about Amon-Ra being the first alternate for the wide receiver spot versus, say, a Mike Evans who has less yards on fewer catches but more touchdowns than Amon-Ra St. Brown. And that's how we utilize it. Amon-Ra St. Brown's utilization is that of a workhorse. He's a grinder. He's going to get you the dirty yards. He's going to go 4 for 50 and a touchdown. Mike Evans, on the other hand, who is a future Hall of Famer, don't misunderstand me, he's having one of his better seasons, and Baker Mayfield's hitting him on big plays. So the media is putting more reels out of Mike Evans making splash plays than Amon-Ra St. Brown's 4 for 66 and a touchdown. Does that make sense? He's more of a marketability than Amon-Ra St. Brown. You're going to see more sales being made for that jersey because the player's more splash. People don't care about the nitty-gritty, the nuances of the game. The layman doesn't really see the things that you and I see, right? You and I are in it to win it. We see all the dirty little things like Jack Campbell getting held twice while Dak Prescott throws a 92-yard touchdown pass to CeeDee Lamb that never should have happened. Or, the small, tiny things like the 6 inches in front of your face. You know what I'm saying? You and I know that. The layman, the guy who's just tuning in to watch the Super Bowl halftime show and the commercials, he doesn't see that. He just sees what ESPN runs on their top 5 plays of the weekend. And Amon-Ra doesn't typically make that spot, right? So Amon-Ra's getting snubbed because of his work ethic, because he's not a diva, because he's not Mr. Flash, because he's not calling for the ball. He's out there doing his job, right? He's embodying the city of Detroit, which is why we all love him. He's embodying his head coach, Motor City Dan Campbell. He's setting an example for the rest of the league, which is why we have the players that we have. And it's such an outlier to see guys chirping like a CJ, knowing that that's not really how our dynamic is with the psychology of the players that we bring in, right? We ended up letting Hawk go, trading TJ Hutchinson, because he was a little bit more of a diva dynamic, Mr. in the media with his long flowing hair. Now, he was Mr. Me. So we went out and we drafted Sam LaPorta. And what do you see out of Sam LaPorta? Smiles. My man just looks like he's having the time of his life out there. Like he's just happy to play football. And that's the type of guy that I like, man. That's the type of guy that I like. So let's go ahead and round it out. Jonah Jackson getting nominated as the 3rd offensive guard. Alex Anzalone coming in 5th. That's neither here nor there at that point, man. But Alex Anzalone has had a relatively good season. I think his season numbers would be a lot better, but since he's had the pins in his thumb and had to play with a bit of a cast on, you have seen a few more missed tackles out of him. However, Alex Anzalone's cerebral development between last season and this year has been just monumentous in the steps that he's taken, and he's setting a strong developmental example for guys like Jack Campbell. And this is the type of guy you want. A Pro Bowl nodded player, right? Don't know if he's going to get in, but he gets a nod from the national media that Alex Anzalone's playing good enough, who's been in the league. This is his 2nd contract on his 2nd team, who can help cultivate the talent of a guy like Jack Campbell, who has struggled at times in pass coverage, doesn't necessarily have the pass rush specialist that we're trying to utilize him for, but all that can be worked out. The future is bright for our linebacking room, all in all. And then Khalif Raymond coming in 4th as the punt returner. Again, the guy's been just pretty solid for us, man. I like what Khalif Raymond brings to the Detroit Lions, both on the field and off the field. My guy, again, I just keep saying it. They're all Brad Holmes, Motor City Dan Campbell guys, and you and me, we love that up here in Detroit. We love the grittiness, the hometown, the passion, the love, the family that Motor City Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes have been able to build with the entire organization. It makes me so proud to be a Detroit Lions fan, and we're finally starting to get some acknowledgement for it, especially in the Pro Bowl voting. Aidan Hutchinson really showcasing that you don't have to have the most flash to make it into the Pro Bowl. However, Amon-Ra St. Brown totally undermining that narrative and screwing my entire approach. So that's going to do it for me, you guys. Comment down below what you think. Was there anybody you'd like to see make the roster that didn't make the roster? Anybody who you felt maybe should have been more acknowledged? I'm not going over the whole NFC lineup. We're just going to talk about the Lions for right now, because I'm just still trying to really talk about the Lions and focus on you guys before I dip my toes into the national media market. That just takes a lot out of me. So comment down below if you guys like the multiple uploads a week. It's something I'm trying to do if I still got you here for a couple more minutes. Wow, we're going on 20 minutes. I'm just trying to not booze as much. So I come out here and I shoot a video and we do this, that, and the other thing, and we get rolling, rip, rocking, and roaring, ready to go. So anyway, that's going to do it for me, guys. Friday we'll upload the Minnesota preview game. Stay out of trouble until then. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Keep your stick on the ice. If it doesn't find you handsome, at least you'll find you handy. I've been Hat and Beard. You've been an attentive audience. Frig off.